This is tutorial 3, level 3, autumn leaves. I'm going to take up my tutorial where I left off the last tutorial, and I was talking about the altered scale and also using an upper structure flat 6 to improvise on altered chords, and I explained what the altered chord was. So I'm just going to play the lines that I was playing in the last tutorial, which are triplet lines, but they're grouped in fours, so it gives an impression of going over the beat. It sounds syncopated. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to play the upper structure for A altered, and I'm going to go to D7 altered, and then resolve to G minor. So that's the 2-5-1 into the minor in Autumn Leaves. Okay. So in that pattern, I was literally coming down on an arpeggio of F, which is from A is a minor 6, so that's the flat 6, and the left hand in my could play the guide tones, could play an altered chord. So you get this four notes coming down, but if you group them in triplet, so, and also if you accent the beginning of every 4 notes, that's also makes it sound like it's crossing the beat. So if I didn't put those accents in, it would sound like this. And you see it doesn't sound as cool as going. So just putting in those accents makes the music sound like we're in a different time signature, but then it seems to write itself at the end. So I'll just put a little bit of improvisation in there. I'll attempt it a little bit faster. So that's something I've stolen from Herbie Hancock. And stealing from very good soloists is something I would definitely recommend, but sometimes perhaps disguising it is good. You don't want to actually play a solo note for note that are great already recorded, but definitely referring to their language and some of their ideas is a really good idea. I'm going to outline some of the harmony when the harmony moves quite quickly. So in bars 3 and 4, instead of playing chord 1, I've substituted chord 1 with a chord that's a semitone above. So you get this effect. I've also made it a minor chord. And this works partly because we hear this 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. Anything that works by going down in patterns with in some sort of cycle of fifths can sound convincing. I mean, you can find all sorts of connections. Like I'm now looking at it and I'm thinking, well, normally it resolves to this chord, but the next chord, there's a 2. If we took away the chord 2, we might end up going 2, 5. So if we took away, in my case, it would be B minor. We'd kind of be going down in chromatic dominant sevenths. So I've basically eliminated chord 2 and just gone 2, 5 into our major key, which would be B flat major for me. And then instead of playing chord 2, I've just gone down. But it's just easier to look at the music and understand what I'm saying by just seeing that that is a cycle of 2 5s. And if I've lost you now, I'm very sorry. Sometimes it's quite difficult to speak randomly and not refer to a specific key. But I think that's that particular progression sounds really good. And I didn't make it up. It's the progression that many people use, and you can hear it in recordings by Miles Davis. So if you've got fast moving harmony, and not a lot of time to play lines over it. If you get a little lick or a little idea, it can be quite useful. So I've just got a simple one here. I'm sure you could invent a much more interesting one, but I'm just doing chord tones. So at that particular point, if you played, then you would get some ideas to play over those fast moving chords. You could also do the same thing 6 bars from the end when it goes, or as I've substituted, the last chord with a tritone substitution. You can use a similar idea there. So I'm going to just play the same lick, but this time it's going on the different section. So. But sometimes it gets a bit annoying to hear something so obvious as that. So if you can break it up a little bit, it can sound a bit more sophisticated. So here's a little change. And I've just used some ninths there. So I'll just do that really slowly. And I think that's a little bit less obvious and predictable than the other one. So that gives you some ideas to improvise on Autumn Leaves. I've got a few other little bits of information I'm going to reveal in the final and 4th tutorial on Autumn Leaves, but that's the end of tutorial 3, level 3 on Autumn Leaves.